Hi everyone, welcome back to Fitness Empowerment by Danny. I am Danny, and my goal here on this channel with these videos is to empower you all to take the next step on your health and fitness journey and make a change in your lives. How am I going to do that today? Well, today I'm going to review an article that I found on bodybuilding.com from the 21st of April 2017, and this article intrigued me because it is good for anybody who is a beginner. So the title of this article is The 4 Most Important Lessons Every New Lifter Should Learn. So they talk about the 4 most things that they think are important for beginners in lifting, and so I wanted to kind of go over what their thought process was and what these 4 points and lessons are, and then share with you at the end my tip to add on and kind of summarize these 4 tips for beginners. Okay, lesson 1 is learn basic movement patterns and how to control them. This is huge because you're a beginner, you don't really know what's going on in the gym. Maybe you've had a couple workouts with some friends, maybe you've only just gotten a membership and you just haven't had time to get a personal trainer and you don't really know where to start. So their recommendations are learning a little bit about the major muscle groups. So things like your pecs, your back, your biceps, your triceps, your deltoids, your abdominals, your glutes, your hamstrings, all of these major muscle components, and whether they are a muscle that has 2 heads, or that's like your bicep, or your deltoids that have 3 heads, or your quadriceps, so your quads, they have 4 heads. So just learn a little bit about each muscle group and then try to figure out how you want to go ahead and work with them. So what they recommend is start with machines, and why they recommend starting with machines is because machines take out some of the balance aspects, so they are already designed to let your muscles work in a very specific movement. So as long as you adjust the machine to fit your height and your appropriate body posture and things like that, the machine, you have to move the exact way that the machine is designed to move. So this is really great for beginners because you don't have to worry about the balance and the standing and how to move the dumbbell. Like, there's one way that the machine works. So use the machine in that way, get used to learning how that machine works, and then you can move on from that machine. So say you're sitting at a bicep curl machine where you have to hold the grip in one specific way. There's only one way that you can move your arm. So once you understand how that machine works, then you can kind of graduate and you can go to using a straight barbell or a dumbbell or a kettlebell, and there's all these different varieties that you can start incorporating into your exercise once you've learned these machine exercises that kind of give you a baseline for how to do exercises in the gym, especially if you don't have a personal trainer or you don't want to hire a personal trainer or can't for whatever reason. That is their first guideline for beginners, and they have 4 points that they wanted to add on to here. And so I'm going to read these out. So they say, number 1, as a rule when you're lifting, exhale as you lift or push the weight, and inhale as you lower the weight or return to the starting point. So that's a really good thing to think about. Breathing is so huge and important. You always hear people talk about breathing when it's like, they're doing yoga or they're doing some form of meditation, but it's really important in the gym as well when you're lifting heavy weights or when you're learning how to lift heavy weights. The second thing they want to caveat on there is never lock out a joint to hold a weight in the top position. So it's just not a good idea. Lower the weight just a little more slowly than you lifted it. This is huge. So if you really want to grow your muscles, think about taking 2 to 3 or maybe 5 or 6 seconds to lower your squat down to the 90-degree angle and then push back up. It is really hard when you start doing exercises slowly, how much more concentration it takes and how much you really have to focus on your posture and doing things with the correct form. So highly, highly recommend that tip. And then number 4 under the first lesson is to reverse the direction smoothly at the bottom of the position. Don't use your momentum to bounce the weight up again. And that's a big deal too, because are you just trying to throw the weight up, or are you in the gym for a purpose to actually do the exercise properly, grow your muscles, or are you trying to just bounce a weight off your chest because you want to lift a heavy weight? Are you really lifting a heavy weight if you're just doing a bench press and bouncing off your chest? Well, and plus if you're a female, that's gonna hurt. So think about your body. You don't want to hurt your body when you're just trying to get into the gym and learn it and understand how to make things work. Moving on to lesson 2, choose the most anabolic exercises. What does anabolic mean? Okay, so anabolic and catabolic are 2 terms that you might hear tossed around a lot. So anabolic refers to the process of building up muscle, while catabolic refers to the process of breaking it down. You want to do exercises in the gym that are going to promote growth in your muscles. And effectively, when you're doing muscle or doing exercises in the gym, you have to break down your muscle so that it can build back up and rebuild stronger. But they talk about resistance exercises and different groups that they can be divided into. So you can do isolation exercises where you're doing single joint movements, or you can do compound exercises, multi-joint movements, which there you go, multi-joint movements or single joint movements. So an example of a compound lift would be a squat, because when you squat down, you're moving your joints at the hip and your joints at the knee. But when you think about something like a leg extension, you're only moving your joints at the knee. So it's single joints versus more than one joint that you are actively moving in that lift. Think about a bicep curl. If you're just moving your bicep, then you're only moving the joints around your elbow. But think about a shoulder press. Not only are you lifting your shoulders and moving your shoulders, but you're also moving the joints in your elbows. So shoulders and elbow joints. Okay, so that would be a compound movement as opposed to an isolation movement. Generally, you're encouraged, or they're encouraging you in this article, to start off with compound lifts. That way you can do these double joint or multi-joint exercises when you have more energy, and then when you start to get into the middle or end of your workout, move to those single joint or isolation exercises so you can really focus on those single muscle groups at the end and kind of like use those as a burnout. Lesson number 3 is understand the relationship between load and reps. So they're saying that a first question that a lot of beginners have, and I definitely think this is true, is how much weight should I try to lift and how many repetitions do I need to be doing? So their recommendation is that you start off with a light weight and you start off with 12 to 15 repetitions. That's just a good average kind of rep range. So it's really, really hugely important, and they harp on this in here too, to focus when you first start building muscle on posture and on form, because if you start building up your muscles in an incorrect form and an incorrect posture, you're only going to get stronger in a posture that is, well, going to potentially harm you down the road, but it's not aesthetically pleasing. So think about doing a squat or a lunge and you have your shoulders in a forward rounded position instead of keeping your shoulders back and your chest up. If you just strengthen that lunge and you're strengthening it like this, you are only going to get stronger in a hunchback position instead of a shoulders back, chest up position where you have this really nice, pleasing, aesthetically pleasing posture. And this is a posture that is going to help you feel better as you grow older in life. You want to do things for your body that are going to help you in the long run. What's the point and the purpose of getting in the gym and lifting? Yes, you want to be aesthetically pleasing probably, and yes, you want to do it for health, but you're doing this for long term. You're not jumping in the gym. Hopefully you're not just jumping in the gym because you're on some sort of fad diet, or you want a quick fix and you want to look good in a bikini or a bathing suit or whatever for summer. Yes, those are good short-term goals, but if you're really trying to understand how lifting is going to affect you in your life and in the long term, you have to think about doing the exercise properly with the proper form first before you try to add any extra weight. If you need to start with no weight at all, that's what I recommend. Start with no weight, get the posture and the form correct, and then slowly add in weights. The weight's always gonna be there. You can always go up 2.5 pounds here and there. You can always add more, but you have to start in the right place. And as you become more experienced, you can definitely, when you learn how to increase the weight, then you can lower the reps a little bit. But start off with an average rep range and learn how to do 12 to 15 reps or 10 to 12 reps at a time. And make sure that you know how to do a couple reps in a row and you are doing them with the proper form before you jump into something that's a little bit more advanced. Lesson number 4, this article from bodybuilding.com recommends that you train your entire body every other day. So as a beginner, they do recommend that you do an entire body workout and not just a specific muscle group, because you're brand new to the gym and you want to make sure that you're incorporating a little bit of everything so that you don't just, accidentally over focus on one body part. So I'm like about to sneeze. Is it gonna come? Is it not? No, it's not. Okay. And they recommend that you give yourself at least 1 to 2 days of recovery time, because if you are working really hard every day and you're not giving yourself any recovery time, then you're not allowing your muscles to grow, and so therefore it's kind of pointless to be doing what you're doing. They do recommend that later on, as you split your workouts, that you can branch out instead of doing full body workouts, that you can focus on those individual muscle groups that we talked about earlier. So maybe you'll hit biceps one day, or biceps and triceps one day, or bicep and back one day, and you can kind of advance to different types of splits in your workouts. But again, starting off with full body workouts every other day. Make sure you give your body recovery time for the hard work that you're putting in, so that you get the optimal output from your workouts. And then they also say, don't make the mistake of thinking that daily aggressive workouts will get you swole in no time. Progress comes with a combination of hard work and ample rest, and that's absolutely what we've been talking about, and it's absolutely true. You want to work hard, but the hard work also requires rest and recovery, so just keep that in mind. They talk about patience and consistency. Again, if you're in this for the long haul, you have to have patience. You have to understand that you're not going to develop the 6-pack abs overnight, or in 1 week, or in 2 weeks, or in 1 month. If you do one summer shredding session, it's a 90-day program. You might not be shredded in 90 days, sorry. If you don't have good nutrition to go along with your fitness, you have to have all of these different aspects. And that's not to say that you shouldn't try it, but you can't expect awesome, optimal long-term results if you're not willing to constantly put in hard, long-term effort. Like, it's constant. It's every week. It's something every day, whether it's focusing on sleep, or focusing on your fitness, or focusing on nutrition. It's all about being a well-balanced human being. And that brings me to my tip for everything. My tip in tying these 4 lessons together is objectively take a look at your personal schedule. And even though they recommend doing a full body workout every other day, realistically, set yourself a SMART goal, look at your calendar, look at what else you have going on in your life that is a priority, and say, you know what? I've got to start working out. I want to incorporate it into my life, but I only have 2 days, and that might be 1 day during the week and 1 day on the weekend. Be realistic with yourself. If you can only make it 2 days a week, then make it a goal and make it a priority to hit those 2 days a week. Don't try to go 4 or 5 days a week and cut, an extra hour or 2 out of your mandatory sleep time or something else that's a priority. Start with the 2 days and be consistent with the 2 days. And then if you find that you want to reprioritize later on and then make that, a 3-day-a-week program instead of a 2-day-a-week program, then go ahead and do that. But it's not going to work out well for you if you just say, you know what? I've never done this before, and I'm going to go in, I'm going to try 4 to 5 days a week, and I'm just going to kill it. I'm going to do an hour of lifting and 30 minutes of cardio every day. Guess what? You're going to get burnout real fast, and then your dreams and your goals of being a fitness, whatever your goals are, whether it's to be shredded on the beach or to have, just muscle growth and make sure that you have this long time, life expectancy because of what you're doing in the gym, that's going to go down the drain because you burnt yourself out, and then you went to, oh, you know what, I don't have time for this anymore. You don't have time for it because you overexerted yourself. So really take a step back before you go jump into something and figure out what is realistic for you and your life and what you can manage long term. This is a long term end goal, okay? This is not some quick fix. This is what's gonna help you live a little bit longer, as long as possible, and do it in a healthy manner. This is not about extremes. This is not about fad diets. This is not about the latest, fitness thing that's being shown on TV. It's about what you can do long term and be consistent with long term. That is all for today, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me on this discussion and this overview of the bodybuilding.com article on the 4 most important things that you can learn for fitness tips in the gym for a beginner. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, especially if it's something that you want to reference later on, because when you do that, it goes into your liked video playlist, and then you don't have to search for it later. You can just go on your YouTube channel and say, oh, this is part of my liked videos. I know I wanted to take a look at it later because it was some good information, and it's right there for you. You don't have to search for it. And then again, make sure you subscribe to my channel too, because I put out at least 3 new videos a week. Sometimes they are workouts, sometimes they are nutrition tips and advice, sometimes they're full days of eating, sometimes I go over articles just like this one. So make sure that you click that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on future empowering content from me. Thanks again so much. I will see you guys next time. Empowerment by Danny, a brand dedicated to flexible nutrition, macronutrient tracking, and a lifestyle without unhealthy extremes.